Welcome to Ready, Set, Real Estate, where we will help empower and educate you on many different aspects of real estate, finance, and investing. Each week, we will expand your knowledge and uncover hidden truths. We will break down real-world scenarios and study actual how-to strategies. Anyone can buy real estate, but together we'll ensure you make smart real estate investment decisions. Now, here's your host, award-winning author, international speaker, and real estate educator, Lisa Gillett.
Happy Wednesday. See, I was playing with my banners today and I could see this is not doing what I wanted to do. So let's remove that. Hey there. There you go. Happy Wednesday. Trust you all are having a great midweek so far. Welcome back to the show. I should say welcome back. Say hi. Welcome back. Did I forget you? No. I've been offline. I was vacationing. I was out in the Caribbean. I was in Bahamas, DR. We had a cool trip. I was enjoying the Grand Turks. I'd love to be there again. I definitely have to do a do-over in the Turks and Caicos. So beautiful. People were beautiful. Vibes were beautiful. Beach, beautiful. Seawater, phenomenal. Green. I feel like I need to pull up a picture somewhere. I'll find a picture. I had a thought to show you, but then I was like, I don't know. I'll take up showtime just going through photos of what we've done and the pictures we took and shared. I was like, no, I'm not going to do the show. I'm not going to use the show time to do that because there's much more important things that we should talk about here, like real estate, right? And I'm happy to do that. I'm excited. I'm excited to be back. Let me see here. You know what? There's something weird's happening on. I notice when I do the Instagram thing, just something weird happens. Let me see if I can fix it over there real quick. Let's see here if I do this. Nope, don't like when I do that. So it takes me out of the screen mode, exit screen mode. Let me see. How about if I do this? Solo layout. I don't know what's happening over there, but I was doing this. So let me post that over there. We'll figure it out. Let me see if I do this. I plan to share today's show topic. Doesn't do that either. I don't know what to do, you guys over there. What's happening on Instagram? Don't know. That's why just catch me on YouTube or on some of the other live feeds. Because I don't know, Instagram is doing something really funky. Let me see. There's really nothing I can do over there with the layouts. Yep. Nope. Not sure how to fix it. So anyway, let's get back to what's happening today. Today, we've got a great show topic. So I had in mind to talk about this because I am noticing that we've long been talking about the first-time home buyer. We've been talking about price of home ownership in California and across California, and definitely makes much more sense. I definitely have advised clients if they can move out of state and they can start a new life and they can, create build a career and just lay roots somewhere else where affordability makes sense, then go do that. Don't feel like you're stuck here in California because California, the pricing here is just wow. But again, I'm reminded as we came back from our vacation from one beach to another, we're about 20 minutes from the beach and 1 hour from the snow. We personally are centrally located. I feel like most people are in the greater scheme of LA, right? Hence LA super agent. So coming from that, in relation to pricing here, you kind of go, I see why pricing is just chaotic, is just out the roof, because we went down to Torrance, Redondo, Venice, Santa Monica, right? And you can keep going down PCH, Pacific Coast Highway, and just drive for miles and miles. and just look at the beautiful, beautiful water, look at the beach, look at the architecture, look at the homes and properties. And what I've noticed personally, I just continue seeing LA building up, right? Building up. And this is why I wanted to talk about, and I think I showed it real quick. I'll bring it back. This is why I wanted to talk about which is better as we talk about home ownership in California. And we're noticing California is becoming like this towering city, like San Francisco and some of the other areas where we are going up. So which is better, single family versus condo? I want to visit this age-old debate of single family versus condo and talk about the pros and the cons of each. It is not for me to decide for you which is better necessarily, but I think there's been a long old debate, and that debate continues to happen among folks online and offline as it relates to purchasing. How are you, Mr. Alvandigas? Watch out, I'm coming 99. How are you? So I just want to have this conversation. It bugs me right now that I don't know what's happening over there on Instagram. Not sure. Let me just put a caption here. Not sure where my video is on IG, but we're streaming live on LinkedIn. Look, I'm up here typing LinkedIn, and Meta, YouTube. Okay, I just got to drop that comment there. This is so weird. I don't know why it does that. Let me see this real quick. Let's see if I do this. I'm gonna play my layout one last time. Let me see. Let me turn off the layout. Let's see. What is this? This is background. What if I remove on the vertical? Is that the vertical? No, that's a horizontal. Hide from stage. Nope, does nothing. Does nothing. No. Okay. As I was sharing, this age-old debate as it relates to single family versus condo. Before I jump into that, let's jump into quarterly goals here. You know how I like to start off the show and kick off the show. We like to talk about goal setting here. So what have you been writing down as your real estate goals for 2026? For moi, I got to realize one of those goals and check off those boxes, which is travel. So I owed myself a vacation. We owed ourselves a vacation as a family. We were able to travel outside of the country. Had some bumps along the way, but we made it. It was a really cool experience. And I got to see more real estate. Not as much as I would have wanted, but we got to tour the Dominican Republic, which is beautiful. I just feel so. Our family is from Belize, Central America, and seeing the DR felt very nostalgic, very similar to what living is in our home or native country. We got to explore some of the foods from the DR, which again, very similar, rice and beans, plátano, I speak Spanish. Arroz, frijoles, plátano was fantastic. They made these, I forget what it was, yuca. They almost look like vegan. I'm vegetarian too, not vegan, I'm vegetarian. And it almost reminded me of what would be as vegan chicken nuggets, the way they made the yuca. In fact, my son thought they were chicken nuggets. He put so many in his plate. I ended eating them, and they were delicious. That was my quarterly goals. As I share this with you and we talk about the show topic, what are things that you are setting out to do in real estate, whether it's improving your credit, saving for down payment, working on paying down your mortgage, paying your mortgage off, buying another property, doing an exchange like 1031 exchange, swapping one investment property for another. Are you writing those goals down, right? Dreams are only dreams until you write them down. Then they become goals, and we start to move further to execution and materializing that manifestation. When you manifest the intent, then we're talking about, making stuff happen. And that's what this show is about here, is making stuff happen. Again, if you're tuning in on IG and you're popping on there, I apologize, because I really don't know how to fix the stream, the video. Like, I don't know what's going on there. It's bah humbug for me real quick. It's like, don't know what to do. Don't know how to fix it. Let me see here. Is there anything that I can do? No, it's nothing I can do to fix it. So, oh well. I'll figure it out next time. The other thing is, what if I do this? Does that work? No. I don't know, guys. Don't know what it is over there. All right, before I jump into show topics, now I'm just changing my entire thing here. Let me go back and fix it, because now weird things are happening. Weird things are happening. Go to brand color. Brand colors. Now I'm in purple mode. Okay, let's do that for now. There we go. I like the bubbles. And go there. All right, I'm done. I'm done touching stuff. So as we were talking about real estate goals, that's what happened. And there are more goals for me that I'm working for and executing. I've got like a whole big scheme of plans that I'm excited for. I've got some really exciting news that I want to announce coming soon. But with that, I did, as promised, I said I will bring show guests starting August. So we are lining up our guests for August. I said after July, after vacation and the whole stuff that I've been working on kind of simmers down, I can get back to bringing show guests on the show. So I'm excited to do that and share that with you. Okay, so that covers goals. Let's see here. That's about it for now. Listen, before I step away, I do want to do a disclaimer real quick. For those of you who are new to the show, of course, the information provided on the show should not be considered legal or tax advice. Please seek legal and tax advice from those licensed, reputable professionals. Again, licensed, reputable professionals regarding your unique situation. Of course, this show's for edutainment. I get to share and talk about things that I love. I get to lay my hair down and relax and joke with you all about the fun stuff and the not so fun stuff in real estate. And this here is all about real estate literacy, edutainment wrapped up in one. All right. We'll be right back after the sponsor break. We're going to do classroom style. So I do have a show for you. Maybe when I step away from while I have the sponsor commercial running, I'll probably try to I'll see if I can fix what's happening over there on Instagram, but I really don't know, y'all. I don't know what to do about it. So with that, I will say we'll be right back. Okay. Again, you see, look, some weird stuff is happening over here. They've moved so many different things.
We know how challenging it can be to try and sell a home while also dealing with other financial and legal matters. We are here to help. Devenio Estates is the real estate firm you need to make sure your unique situation is handled as quickly and efficiently as possible. Our team of professionals has a combined experience of over 30 years in real estate, construction, and finance industries. As active professionals in the industry, we know the importance of timelines and pride ourselves in providing superior service without compromising integrity. We use industry software and copyrighted proposals so that our real estate agents submit accurate and complete listing information and buyer offers. Our goal is to exceed your expectations and set Devenio Estates as the go-to real estate firm for excellence in advocacy and superior services for our clients. Contact us today to learn more about our services.
Sweet. Okay, let me see here. It's so odd that that's not working over there. That is so odd. Very, very odd. In any case, all right. For those of you who are streaming and are with me, I can't figure out what's happening on Instagram. So come on over to some of the other channels or catch the replay on your favorite podcast, wherever you're tuning in. So today's show topic is we're going to talk about an age-old debate that continues to be this debate here, which is better single family versus condo. Again, if you're tuning in to the show, we are on episode 275. Over 200 episodes, really close to 500 episodes on our YouTube channel. And we've been going strong since 2017. I like it. I like it a lot. Thank you for your love and support on the show, and that you keep rocking with us. So make sure you grab your Ready Set Real Estate merch, your mugs. You know, I've got my mug right here. Look at that. Make sure you grab your merch. Show some love and support to the show. We're going strong. Okay. All right, classroom style here. We're going to talk about the pros and cons. It's not for me to decide for you. It's essentially information. Okay, I don't know what's up with your situation and what would make a condo better over a single family, or what would make a single family versus a condo better for you. But I do want to talk about the pros and cons to each. So this would be helpful for those of you. I know sometimes people call me and reach out and say, well, I've been thinking about a condo, Lisa, and but I don't know XYZ. Or, you know what, been thinking about, getting a single family home, but, my family, my friends say I should get a condo instead. What do you think? So here's what I think. All right, let's talk about the pros and cons for you to iron out what is the best for you. All right, let's start off with single family. So here are the pros on the single family. Easy, right? Privacy, number one. Single family homes offer great privacy, as you typically have no shared walls with neighbors. That's nice. But I will say, given or determining location, where you buy, you could still be relatively close to your neighbors. They can probably hear a lot of what's going on in your lives. So not as private as we would want. So again, if you're looking at an area more further out, I don't think you have this with places like Texas, maybe Georgia, some of the other areas where you're talking about the property that you buy is 1,000 square feet. It's on a, quarter acre lot or half an acre lot. You have no issue with privacy on single family. But if you're in like greater LA, definitely could be an issue here when we talk about privacy with your lot or the adjoining lot with the neighbor's lot. But it's still not like a condo where there is a common wall. All right, we'll talk more about that when we talk about the condos. Second point, as a pro for single family homes, is space. These homes usually provide more living space in larger yards, ideal for families or those who enjoy outdoor activities, especially with you who have furry family members, right? I've had a couple clients already who purchased for the sole purpose of giving their furry family members, right, their pets, their dogs, a place to run around, to have a backyard, to have a front yard. So that has been really an uptick that I've seen, is one of the reasons that people are moving out of apartments, is so that they can provide a yard to their animals. That's been a really interesting one for me as of late. I find it funny, and I joke with my clients when I say it's really interesting. You won't buy a home for your spouse or for your significant other or for your partner, but you will buy a whole house for your dog. That one cracks me up every time that I come across a client who says, yes, they said I can't have the dogs in the apartment, or I can't have this type of dog in the apartment. So I decided, screw them. I'm just going to go buy a house and my dog will be able to do whatever they want. Okay, cool. And sometimes they'll be in relationships for 10, 15 years. And, the spouse is like, I've wanted them to buy a house for years, but they get this dog, and now this dog makes them bite the bullet, right? And go buy property. So I find that really interesting that that's the case. So I go figure. I don't know. Let's see here. Number 3, customization. Oh, there was another thing I wanted to say about space. Let me see. Living space. Says these homes usually provide living space in large yards, ideal for families. Oh, here's my tip. Here's what I realized. If you are in these areas where you see a growing number of ADUs, right? That means people are wiping out their backyards. Backyards are disappearing. Let me say this on the record and for the record, and I've said this, and I'm probably one of very few who are saying this and recognizing that this is happening. But all of you know that I'm super agent. I'm intuitive when it comes to this business. I have the gift of foresight, right? It's a blessing and a curse, if you will. But for those living in communities and looking at properties where the backyard is now becoming an ADU, for those of you who have a backyard, who will still have a backyard in the next 5 to 10 years, you will then have prime, I promise you will have prime real estate. Why? Because no one will have backyards anymore. Everyone is throwing a condo. In fact, that's going to be my next show topic, because I believe I shared a post that California, was it San Jose? I think it was San Jose, you guys, California has completed their first ADU conversion to condo sale, meaning someone has sold a piece of their backyard separate from their property. Yes, this has now become the very new starter of the starter homes. We're here having this debate on single family versus condo, which is better. And oftentimes it's led by pricing, right? Because first-time home buyers are priced out. But guess what? It's so priced out here in California. It's outrageous that mobile homes are no longer the starter home, but the ADU conversion is now the starter home. And we are now seeing, it's just happened, that the first ADU has been sold and split from the main property as a condo. Go figure. So brings me back to my point as we talk about space and we talk about backyard. If you have a backyard, you will have prime real estate here in California. Hold on to it. Hold on to it. Don't succumb to it. I get it. People are like, well, we can move in, the kids, we can, grandmas and grandpas and communal living, and we can collect rent, we can rental income, and all that is great. But at the price of what, right? So it's to your discretion, it's your business, it's your property. But I will say, what I see this growing trend happening and no one has a backyard. Remember what happened during COVID? Everybody ran out to, the suburbs, right? When they could work from home and they were able to get more space because they've been living in these condensed and these very dense communities, apartment living, stacked housing. COVID happens and people just wanted to get away. They were looking for places they could have outdoor living. They could have their front yard. They can have their backyard. Well, guess what? Some of that backyard now is becoming ADUs and condos and whatnot. And if you no longer have a backyard, then I will say you're not adding, right? It depends to the desire and the psyche is what's going to control market value. There will be some buyers in the near future that is going to say, gosh, does anyone have a backyard, or does everyone have an ADU and somebody living in their backyard, right? So think about this. This is going to switch. There will be a trend and there will be a time where the psyche of the buyer is going to switch and you will be penalized for having converted your backyard to an ADU. That's my rant. I said what I said and I'm sticking to it. Okay, let's go on to number 3. Customization. Homeowners have more freedom to make modifications or renovations to suit personal tastes and needs without needing approval from a homeowners association. What does that mean? You don't have to ask anybody about gutting out your property, reconfiguring, even painting your property. Condo living, you need to ask for permission. It needs to conform to the way it looks, right? That tends to be part of the bylaws of the homeowners association. We're going to get into that for a sec. So you can't just easily change things up in a condo. Single family, it's yours. You get to do what you want with it, right? So yes, that includes painting it the bright colors that you want or painting it that dark color if you want, right? I'm seeing a lot of the farm housing style. They're using a lot of the dark charcoal gray, really dark colors. And I'm like, ooh, wow, that's heavy, really heavy. So, hey, if you want to paint your house black, more power to you. It's none of my business. But then when you ask me on the resale value, what color should you paint your house? I'm definitely going to say, let's talk about curb appeal, right? But if you're not thinking about selling your house, you do what you want with it, right? You paint it whatever color you want and make it as funky and wild as you want to. I've seen some wild things. I've seen, different color tiles from living rooms to bathrooms to kitchens to carpets to laminates to hardwood. I've seen wallpaper. I've seen wood paneling. I just seen some very interesting things going on. And that's kind of the pro you get with single families, but it can also be a con because it could be a disaster on the resale when you try to sell it and you've got all this stuff going on customized to your specific taste. That's not necessarily going to help sell it to the next person, right? That means we're looking for a specific buyer who's willing to take on your property after you've done all this customization. That's my take. All right. Take it with a grain of salt. Number 4, as we continue on single family pros, investment potential. See, now we're talking here. So we're talking about, right, future value, appreciation, equity. So single family homes, bottom line, often appreciate in value over time, potentially offering a good return on investment. I will say those folks who purchased pre-pandemic and then sold during the pandemic made 6 figures easily, a 6-figure return on investment. I know we closed on a property. We sold in a state pre-pandemic price, post-pandemic pricing. It was a 300% return, 300% return. Not too many stocks, unless you hit it right, is going to give you an ROI, return on investment, like real estate does. So I'm going to be biased. I know some of you like your crypto, you like your Bitcoin, you might like the NFTs. I haven't heard anybody talking about NFTs. You like your stocks, you like your other things. So that's good. That's great. You should diversify. Definitely have some real estate in there when we talk about diversifying your portfolio, because real estate does some really cool things and gives you some really tax benefits and advantages that you should be taking advantage of. The tax code is written for you to win in real estate. I'm not a CPA or a tax preparer. Definitely consult with those licensed and reputable professionals who are experienced to give you the tax game as it relates to real estate, okay? Because there is. All right, so I like those. How are you feeling about that? Single family pros, I like it. Let's move on to single family cons. There's 3 here that we're going to touch on. Maintenance. Yes. Something goes wrong with it, you are the landlord, which means you got to call on yourself. You got to call on your savings. You might have to do a home equity line of credit. You might have to get a credit card. You might have to borrow money. But when it goes wrong and it goes bad, it is on you. It falls on you. So that is why in certain areas we see more dilapidated and deferred properties, because oftentimes people are receiving home ownership, right? Have the benefit of home ownership, but are property rich and cash poor in that they don't have the resources, right? They do not have the resources to maintain or manage the maintenance on those properties. So bottom line here is that the homeowners are responsible for all the maintenance, including exterior and the landscaping, which can be not only time consuming and costly. It surely is time consuming on our end. My husband definitely, bless his heart, and I love him for managing the front and the backyard. We got to replace our gardener. We unfortunately had to fire a gardener. So yeah, that's kind of what happens, right? You ask around for good gardener, you ask around for maintenance, handyman people, because, and I'll say this, as we talk about the trades and we'll talk about, businesses that do well in the future, those who are in the trades will do well. Your roofers, your plumbers, your electricians, your, who else did I say? Your HVAC people, those folks who have those skills will continue to do well in the future. Again, if you're joining us on IG, I apologize that you can't see our slide, you can't see our video, but we're over here streaming on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Meta, formerly known as Facebook. Catch us on the replay on your favorite podcast channel. They'll also stream the YouTube, the slides that I'm sharing right now. So we are talking about which is better, single family versus condo. And again, thanks guys over there. Endless Summer Clothing Brand. Shout out to 20 Pack One, Apple Life, who's joining us. Again, I apologize that you can't see our video and our video slides, but we're over here on LinkedIn, YouTube, and some of the other platforms where I've got the slides going for our debate, which is better, single family versus condo. All right, jump on over here if you can catch us. If not, catch the replay on your favorite podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the show, Ready, Set, Real Estate, your number one real estate show. All right, so number two, costs, right? Generally, as we talk about this constant single family, generally single family homes are going to be more expensive to purchase and as I said to number one, maintain than condo living, than purchasing a condo. Typically, here's the formula, here's the number. You may say, Lisa, well, how much should I budget? How much should I budget in maintenance for a single family property? Here's the rule of thumb, 1% of the purchase price. You spend $500,000, 1% of that is $5,000 a year. You need to budget about $5,000. Go up, $600,000 home, 1% of that is $6,000. You should budget about $6,000. We go higher, $700,000. Median price of a home now, I believe in California, I think we've now hit about $825,000. So we're looking about $8,000 more or less is what we should be budgeting for maintenance. But that's like a general rule of thumb. That's not factoring in that if you actually purchased that property knowing right after you did home inspections and you negotiated repair credits, seller concessions, because you found out the HVAC doesn't work, you found out the roof has just enough life to get the loan through, which is at minimum 3 years left on a 25 to 30 year roof. That means you got 3 years left on that roof. That means you should be budgeting for roof replacement, right? That roof is going to leak. Looks like there's something happening around me, so I've got some feedback here, so I apologize about the helicopter. With that being said, you should be budgeting for roof repair, right? And replacing a roof can be pricey. What else should we be factoring in? If you know going in that you've got outdated electrical, you're going to have to replace the electrical system in that property. If you go in purchasing a property and you find out during your home inspection that your sewer line, you've got a tree root going right into your sewer line, guess what? You're going to have to do something about that sewer line. That means you may have to dig it up, replace the sewer. You're going to have to redo the lining. That could be a couple $1,000s. The last property we looked at, I think we were at like $6,000 to $9,000 on replacing the sewer line. So not fun, right? Not fun. So the general rule of thumb on maintenance, annual maintenance on a property is going to be 1% of the purchase price, but that number changes if you knew and you were aware going in after doing your home inspection, after reading what the seller discloses to you about their property, what might need to be fixed, what's broken, what doesn't work, right? That's why you do inspection and you compare that with the seller's disclosure so you are fully informed going in before you close on that property what it's going to require. All right. Number 3, and the last one, as we talk about our single family cons, is location. They may be located further from urban centers, which can increase commuting times. Yes, our first time home buyers right now, if you're not prepared, unfortunately, if you're not making 6 figures and you don't have quite a savings, it's going to probably require you to purchase your first home about 1 hour and 40 minutes out of the urban area, the urban center, unless you can work from home. So that 1 hour to 40-minute commute, and that's without traffic. With traffic, we're looking at 2 hours and some minutes, right? And you may say to me, Lisa, that's bonkers. Why would anybody purchase? Those are personal reasons. Why anyone purchases is very personal, okay? I don't control traffic. I don't control pricing. I just lay it out to you the way it is. I give you the information like I am doing on the show today, and I'm allowing you to make an informed decision. And we get to do that today in the form of edutainment. All right, moving on. Condos, as we continue our debate, which is better, single family versus condo. Where's my condo team? Team condos. All right, so it's condo, by the way, is short for condominiums. Condominiums. All right, so we're my team condo. Team condos, there you are. Here's the pros. Maintenance. Many maintenance duties such as landscaping. We were talking about landscaping on single families, and exterior repairs, like I said, right, are managed by the condo association, reducing you as the homeowner's burden and responsibility. So if you're someone who's barely at home, travels, right, you travel for work, or you just don't want to deal with it at all, condo might be attractive in this sense where you don't have to deal with the maintenance of maintaining that property, because that's a real thing. Let me also say this for folks who didn't know this. You could actually, in living in your neighborhood, each neighborhood has an ordinance, and that ordinance includes things like deferred maintenance and dilapidated. So your neighbor could actually report you for having blistered paint, junk in your front yard, peeling paint, cracked stuff, cracked windows. There's an ordinance. There's a community and neighborhood ordinance that allows people to report to the city. The city would come out and inspect and determine whether you have failed to maintain your property. When I found out that there was an ordinance, I was just mind blown, because I was like, oh my gosh, there are a lot of people that could be reported. And here's why you don't necessarily want to do that, because here's kind of the catch-22. You would like to improve your neighborhood. You want your neighborhood to make sure it looks nice, right? You could report them to the city. The city gets involved. They flag their property. They then now fine them, right? So they charge them for the inspection, and then they give them about 30 days to comply. If they can't comply, because again, it costs money to maintain your property. If they can't comply, the city then will continue to fine them. They'll fine them enough times where they will slap what is called an abatement lien on that property. When they file the abatement lien, after so much time, guess what? The city can force the sale of that property to satisfy that lien, and that essentially forces somebody out of their home. That would not be a good neighbor if you did that. So just FYI. But as we refer to condo living, the homeowners association takes on the responsibility of maintaining the grounds and the exterior of the properties. Number 2, as we talk about condo pros, are amenities. Condos often come with shared amenities like pools, love it, gyms, and community spaces, which can enhance lifestyle without additional costs. I oftentimes say that we live in an HOA community without the HOA fees, because we have access to pools, a track, a tennis court, a basketball court. We've got, different activities. So I think it's pretty cool. We're not too far from all these cool amenities without the cost of an HOA fee. So that's that's kind of nice. But if you like these, and these are requirements for your lifestyle, right? Being able to have a gym, a fitness center, a rec center, then condo living is going to be a plus for you. The next one, number 3, affordability. Condos can be more affordable than single family homes make them, condos can be more affordable than single family homes, which makes them more attractive to first time home buyers. Not only more attractive, but a necessity, because at the end of the day, it's just a dollar price. It's going to come down to the mortgage. What is that mortgage's bottom line, right? It is essentially what it's going to come down to. And let's see here. Number 4, and I want to touch on that, but I want to talk about that more under a con when we talk about affordability as it relates to the HO fees. Number 4, location. Okay, so often condos are located in urban areas, which is the exact opposite, right? What's more affordable is in urban areas, which makes the condos closer in proximity to work, entertainment, and dining options, which is a huge plus, right? So if you want to be close to what's happening, then condos are attractive. And that's what we're seeing happening in our locale, is everything's going up. So here's the thing, because also what I also see happening in California, SoCal, I can speak to Southern California, is this, there's really more this trick of luxury apartment living. So the housing that's being built here is not necessarily for home ownership, but rentership. California is definitely increasingly more a renter state, and there's very few opportunities being created for home ownership. I'll leave that there. We'll talk about that on another show. All right. As we get to wrap up, let's talk about condo cons, right? Condo cons. Privacy. Number 1, privacy. Shared walls and close proximity to neighbors can decrease privacy compared to single family homes. Like I said, depending where you are in a single family property, you literally can be a stone throw away from your neighbor. You can hear everything. But it's not going to be as close to proximity as a condo, where there is a common shared wall. Like literally. Upstairs, next door, behind you, common shared wall. And it could be all around you. You could be a unit, instead of an N unit, you could be a unit that's in the interior. And so you have common shared walls above you, below you, and on both sides of you, which can definitely decrease privacy in that instance. So just imagine what comes with that, right? Dogs, kids, someone who plays in a band, that whole fun stuff. Someone who loves to entertain, that whole stuff. So you're going to have to learn how to be good neighbors and live with your neighbors. Number 2 as a con is space. Space here is that condos typically have less living space and no private yards. That's why and here's the thing, not all condos have like the same amenities. Not all of them will have the same amenities. Which may not suit everyone's needs. If you want a private yard, like noticed it when I've worked with clients, they do want a private balcony, a private patio, some area, if they are going the condo route, that they have for themselves. And that's not always guaranteed in a condo setting. If it does have it, you will pay premium for it, because again, people are going to pay for somewhat of a privacy, even if it's, a small square footage or footprint that gives them privacy space. Number 3, that's a con to condos, is the HOA fees. Homeowners association fees can add a significant monthly cost, and these fees may increase over time. So this is where I get to dispel this saying that people say, oh, if you buy a home versus renting, your mortgage is going to be fixed, your payment's going to stay the same. Not true. And it's both in single family and both in condos and townhomes. It's not true. If you have a fixed interest rate mortgage, then your payments, right, your interest rate won't go up. But that does not necessarily mean your mortgage payment won't go up or down. Here's why. Homeowners insurance are often impounded in your mortgage payments. Your property taxes, your annual property taxes are often impounded in your mortgage payment. Impound means included and spread over a 12-month period. So you're paying your annual property taxes and your annual property insurance in 12-month monthly payments, and it's included. So if the property taxes increase, what happens to your mortgage payment? Your mortgage payment increases. And that is applicable whether it's a single family, condo, or townhome. Now, just imagine if you are in a condo, so not only do you have a mortgage payment that can fluctuate up or down due to homeowners insurance and the annual property taxes, but also due to the HOA fees that may increase over time. And also you should factor in, there may be what are called special assessment dues or fees for like improvements. Let's say that there's got to be a termite work done on the garages, and then the garages all need to be repainted. So that it becomes a special assessment, or depending on the bylaws of the HOA, whether they use reserve funds or do they pass those costs on to each unit owner of that condominium complex, and it's divided over a period of time, usually 5 years. Those are things you should keep in mind. The last point here, as we talk about and close out our single family versus condo debate, another final con to condominiums is the restrictions. We call them C, and R's. Covenants, conditions, and restrictions. Restrictions where owners may face restrictions on renovations and modifications and require approval from the condo association. No, you can't cut that tree down. No, you can't put up that sign. No, you can't put that, you can't paint it that color. No, you can't place anything out in the balcony. No, you can't, you get what I'm saying? It's essentially the Bible to how things are operating, to how things move and operate within that complex. It helps keep things uniform and standardized, and it helps create, I'm going to say air quotes, right? Keeps things fair, but sometimes it can be unfair that you might need to consult an attorney and challenge some of those regulations that may overstep. It is possible that some of the rules and guidelines do overstep. So you should consult an attorney to see what your rights are as it relates to that. Okay. All right. This was pretty good. I like this. This was fun. I trust this was packed with some information. As you know, we're information packed over here. If you have some other input or insight as to which is better, single family versus condo, I'd love to hear from you. Drop it in the comments down below. Send me a text. Give you my number, 323-488-3265. That's my direct cell. You can text me, give me your feedback, or if you've got a specific unique situation that you need to talk to somebody about, I'd be happy to consult with you over it. We'll talk about, we'll set up a strategy meet to see what works best for your unique situation. If you'd like to send me an email, you're welcome to do so. And just to say hi, say hello, and tell me I'm doing a great job, I appreciate that too. I'd love to hear from you. Send me an email, lisa@lasuperagent.com. You guys, this has been fun. We'll see you next time on another information-packed episode right here on your favorite podcast. And have a productive and powerful week. You guys, take care. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Ready, Set Real Estate Podcast with Lisa Gillett, the LA Super Agent. Please like, subscribe, and share LA Super Agent everywhere on your favorite podcast platform.